In this video, I'm going to share with you my perfect week schedule. This is the exact system that I share with my clients that allows them to work less hours, get more clients and more revenue into their coaching business. It's a 6-step process. Whenever I've shared this, it has always come with so many big aha moments. This was the best training that I've gone through, and it's completely changed my life. There's been so many instances where I've shared this on calls and Q&As where people have said, you know, I'm burnt out, or I'm working really hard, or I'm working 7 days a week, or whatever it may be. They go through this 6-step process and they can actually get more from their working hours whilst also going from 7 days a week of work to 4 days a week of work, or instead of working 10-hour days, they can get to 6-hour days. It's a great process. It's one that I personally literally went through specifically because I had my son on the way. And so when my son was about to be born, I was like, I don't want to be in a position where I'm working every single hour of every single day because, you know, I've got a really good work ethic. I really enjoy work as well. So it's not something that I really want to shy away from. But when my son's here, I'm going to want to allocate a lot more time to spending time with my son. And because of the perfect week schedule, not only has our coaching business as well massively grown ever since he's been born, but simultaneously, I've also got to spend every single day with him. There has not been a morning, other than when I went to the UK to run an event for 3 days. There hasn't been a time where I haven't been there first thing in the morning to get him out of bed. There has never been a time where I haven't got to play with him first thing in the morning. I get to see him during the morning at certain break times. I get to put him down for his nap. When he goes down at lunchtime, I get to get him up from his nap. I get to play with him in the afternoon, and I'm always there with him at dinner and playing with him between dinner and bedtime, and then actually being the person that gets to put him down to bed as well. None of this would have been possible with the way that I was running my coaching business or my hours before this had occurred. So this 6-step process that I'm about to take you through is a complete game changer for saving yourself time, but also getting more out of your working hours as well, okay? So the very first thing that you need to do is a brain dump. And this brain dump should be every single thing that you're doing on a weekly basis inside your coaching business. You'll usually find, like most coaches, that the majority of your weeks, as much as you feel like you're being reactive and you're working and you're doing this and you're doing that and you're always being stretched and there's always somewhere else to be and things like that, you'll usually find that 95% of what you do, maybe some more, of what you do on a weekly basis is the same every single week. So you have a certain amount of time you spend on sales calls, you have a certain amount of time you're creating your social media content, you have a certain amount of time that you're running your ads or optimizing them, there's a certain amount of time that you're doing accounting and bookkeeping or whatever it may be. You'll usually find that it's just about the same every single week. So you want to do a big, honest brain dump. If you want to stretch this out a little bit, instead of doing the brain dump to be hyper accurate, map out your entire week, right? So what your next week is going to look like, and take that, because you already know that is your working hours, and what you're going to get done in that time, and use that as your brain dump, right? Because you know it's a very accurate last week of what occurred. Okay, so that's going to be every single thing. The next thing that you want to do is ask yourself what can be removed. Coaches and consultants and business owners in general very often get into a routine of just repeating the things that they've always repeated and always done inside their business. But if you do a brain dump and seriously ask yourself, what here actually needs to get done on a weekly basis? You're probably going to find there's a whole bunch of things that you do just because you think that you should, or because you've always done it, and it's really simple like that. But you can probably remove a good handful of things that are time consuming, that don't really bring anything to you in terms of enjoyment, in terms of clients, in terms of revenue, and you can just remove them completely, okay? The third thing here is delegate. So then you ask yourself, so once you've removed 10% or 12% or 15% of the things inside the brain dump, you then ask yourself, who could be doing things on this plan right here? And so, for instance, Ryan's come out from Ireland here to film a lot of content so that I can provide a lot of value on our YouTube channel and, you know, on Reels and different bits and pieces as well. Well, this is the type of thing that it's like, how much time would it take me to set up cameras and, you know, even if I wasn't going to set it up in this way, like literally setting this up and cameras and changing batteries and then putting the stuff onto my laptop and then trying to edit it as not a professional, like how much time, energy and effort is that taking on a weekly basis? Funnily enough, it was one of the reasons why I sent him the message in the first place, because I was actually editing a video and I was like, man, this like hour and a half could be so much better spent either with my son or doing something else inside the business. So ask yourself what can be delegated. And if you're a newer coach, start on the things that are lower cost to delegate. You'll tend to find that there's things that are very low cost to delegate. So things like certain VA tasks and certain bookkeeping tasks and things like that are usually low cost. These types of things here where you're getting somebody to film your content, to edit your content, I would say is kind of like middle ground. And then at the top tier is probably things more along the lines of like, if you were to find somebody to do the exact thing that people pay you for, that's probably where the highest tier is. So like if you're a coach, bringing on other coaches that can deliver at your level or close to is probably the top tier here. So you kind of, regardless of business size, you kind of want to start at tier number 1, then go to tier number 2, then go to tier number 3 if you're going to start delegating things out. And by the way, as much as people might have told you this before, you don't need to take yourself out of coaching if you don't want to. If you want to, then all the power to you. I don't need to coach anymore. I coach because I actually really enjoy it. I onboard people, I build out their game plans, I put 12-minute videos at the top running through their game plan. I answer questions every day inside the group. I'm on the Q&As every single week and people can bounce with me directly. I do it because I actually like it. And so just because somebody's told you to delegate everything in your business does not mean that you have to. If you enjoy it, keep it, do it yourself if you enjoy it. But there's probably plenty of things inside your brain dump that you really don't enjoy that are very time consuming that you could delegate, okay? The next part here is add things in, okay? So this might feel counterintuitive to the whole point of this video, but doing this exercise can very often allow yourself to highlight the things that you're not doing enough of. Okay, so as much as we're finding the things that we should remove and no longer do, we can sometimes look at it and go, okay, so I'm saying that the biggest thing that I need to do right now is spend time growing the revenue of the business. I'm not doing very much in terms of activities that can actually make that happen. I'm spending a lot of time here, I'm spending a lot of time here, I'm spending a lot of time here. Maybe it's a distraction. Maybe I should be doing more ads, more outreach, more content, more this, more like whatever it may be that you want to do more of. You should basically look at the things that successfully get you clients right now, or that you can see other people doing very successfully, not one-offs, not just one person saying they're doing it, but you can see lots of people are doing X. That might be where adding things in can occur, okay? But add things in where appropriate. This is a good time to do it before building out your perfect week schedule, okay? So your perfect week schedule is where you actually, and I'll do it on this side, so perfect week schedule. And with this, you literally write out on a Google Doc, or I've got it in notes in my phone because it syncs up with the laptop, it's perfect. And I have it as a master. I duplicate it every Friday and I map out what next week looks like, and it's basically the same every single week. So I literally have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and so on, right? So I'll put in Friday because I don't do too much in terms of the weekends anyway. But Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And I literally just asked myself, what is my perfect working hours here? Okay, so my son's about to arrive. What's going to be my perfect working hours? Of course, I took like 2 or 3 weeks where I wasn't really working and I was just with the wee man. But when I get back into the swing of things, back into work properly, what do I want my perfect week to look like? And I was able to say, okay, well, I've got no problem getting up in the morning before everybody else does and getting work done, so that allows me to X, Y, and Z. So I put my start time at either 6 a.m. or 6:30, and sometimes I'll put it in earlier. So I'll start quite early, but I might finish work at 10 a.m. Okay, so I might have 6 a.m. I would have in my notes on my phone, 6 a.m., 6:30, 7, 7:30, 8, 8:30, 9, 9:30, and then if I finish at 10, that's where it would end. Okay, here's the cool thing. You map out your perfect working hours for each day of the week. And you might say, Monday, I'm happy to do mornings and afternoons and really, put the foot on the gas and do an 8-hour day. Tuesday, I want to do just mornings. Okay, it's just 6 a.m. till 10 a.m. or 6 a.m. till 11 a.m. That's Tuesday. That's perfect for me. Wednesday, let's turn the gas up again. Let's do a full day. Thursday and Friday, I want them to be half days. And on a Saturday morning, I want to do just 1 to 2 hours checking in with clients, right? You map out your perfect week schedule. After you've removed and delegated and added things in, you're left with everything that's important to you within the brain dump. This is your opportunity to simply fill in the blanks. Okay, so you literally just start filling things in to the time slots. And of course, I said about 30-minute time slots. Well, if you have 2 hours where your sales call diary is open and it's always filled, you would, remove 3 of them so that the allocation of time for one time slot, you wouldn't have sales call, sales call, sales call, sales call. You'd have sales calls as one line, and it would be a 2-hour gap. Okay, what you end up with, and this is the big takeaway here. I said this was a 6-step. So let me just, before I give you the big takeaway, right? So the 6-step, fill it in. Okay, so fill it in, number 6. So the big takeaway here, and I have heard this so many times, I was struggling to get away from work. I was struggling to not do 12-hour days. I was struggling to get any time off at the weekend. I was struggling to ever see my family. When they go through this process and they remove and they delegate, even adding things in, then they build out their perfect week plan and they schedule things in rather than having it fluid, where they turn up on a Monday and see what needs done. When they do this, they end up with, let's say that you've got 6 slots here and 10 slots here and 6 slots here and 10 slots here and 5 slots here. They end up with empty slots. They don't have enough things to put into the perfect week plan. When they were trying to save time and they were like, this is dreamland stuff, they actually end up in a position where they have even more time available than they thought. And they have a choice there. They can either take those times away and work even less. They can fill these in, and this is a great thing to do, by the way, fill in the blanks with urgence. Just says urgence. Because how many times have you been pulled away from your work for something that needs your immediate attention, and you end up backdated with work, and then you're working the evening when you weren't planning to, or it goes on to tomorrow's plan. You don't sleep well because you know that you've got a disproportionate allocation of work tomorrow. Have some slots across your week for urgence, okay? The alternative is that you can actually add additional things in. Again, if the most important thing to you is to generate more clients, you could put client generating activities into those empty slots as well, okay? But you've got options at that point. You can completely customize it because this is your perfect week schedule, okay? So hope this has been valuable to you. If it has been, then do your usual. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. I appreciate you, and I will be back soon enough with another video. Also, as always, there's like 15 things down below if you want. There's templates, there's a free Facebook ads course. If you're interested in finding out how we can help you inside the private coaching to scale your coaching business, then you can fill in an application right there as well. But other than that, I'll see you on the next video.